Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. Unfortunately, this episode is an entire week late. Normally, every Friday, we get our comic books. Today's Friday and we got our books. From 2 weeks ago. I went on Twitter yesterday, venting a bit, not knowing whether it's Midtown or the Post Service. I don't know if it's a combination of the two, one or the other, but due to one or both, comic books came a week late. I apologize. We did read all of our books digitally. We honestly wanted to wait for a couple of physical copies. We did not want to start the year off with an all digital review. And speaking of starting the year off, the books actually were released on
January 6, 2016, the first week of January, and the new year, first week of 2016.
That's right. So, hopefully tomorrow, which is Saturday, which is when you're probably watching this right now because it's already 12 a.m. Hopefully today, Saturday, we will be getting our books from this Wednesday and the following episode because I don't memorize the numbers of the episodes, and hope until at least we get close to the next 100th. But hopefully this week's episode will be on time. Fingers crossed. So because this is so late, again, abbreviated, we are really eager to get through this week or last week's books, which is this episode, because next week, or this week, see, I'm getting confused. This week's books have a lot of big issues in it, and we definitely want to check those out. So here we go. Starting with the digital.
Yes,
Indies before Big Two.
And with the Papa-Cola, let's start off with Aliens Vampirella issue number 5.
I thought this was the last issue. I really did. There was a shocking death in this issue. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. Vampirella is teaming up with the Nosferatus. I forgot who they were, but I read this a week ago, mind you. All the indie books, I feel like I'm kind of because I read them a week ago and I started reading the new indie books. But I thought this was the last issue. Apparently, there's one more issue to go. Everybody is dead now, and they're blaming Vampirella to be concluded. Artwork's nice. The alien's a very interesting character. The aliens are interesting, and the people she's working with, the Nosferatus, are very interesting. Interesting altogether. There you go.
Paper Girls issue number 4.
This book continues to be amazing. Every time I read it, it just gets better and better. Some questions are answered, sort of. It looks like the people that the girls, or the mutated guys that the girls are following around, are the good guys. They want to take, I forgot her name, to their ship to heal her because she was shot and she's dying. The girls just trust them. Turns out there's a leader for the other people who sends an elixir or whatever to chase after the girls and the mutants to stop them. We get some really cool 1980s video games. There's a really cool trivia thing at the end of the book also about comics and movies and stuff like that, and video games of its time, like the top 5 stuff. Really cool. It ends, though, with a pretty big cliffhanger. Paper Girls just continues to really amaze me. I'm loving it. Image hit it really big with Paper Girls, I believe. Okay.
Alright, Angel and Fate, Season 10, issue number 22.
I knew it. Angel looked like he was, he had given in and Angelus took over again because of Arceus. And Angelus basically tells Arceus if he wants all the vampires to be on his side, he has to talk to Eve to make sure Eve will make all the vampires trust in Arceus. And spoiler, even though it's a week late, I gotta say it anyway, Angel was faking the entire time. That was the plan. The plan wasn't to fight Arceus at all. It was to save Eva. He saves Eva, gets out of there. Faith gets out of there. Plan is a success. And now they're going to take it to Arceus next. Great book. Awesome artwork.
Power Cube, issue number 4.
Now I'm going to pull a Michael here. I don't know if this is the last issue or the end of a story arc. Because this issue ends with the end, ... for now. I know. I hate those things because you don't know if that means...
Now how I feel.
Hopefully there's a volume 2. I will say that. But anyway, the scientist, the German scientist wants... He saved Eva Braun's brain, basically, and he wants him to use the cube to bring Eva Braun back. Why did I go Eva? I don't know. And if not, he'll blow up his girlfriend. He does it. I believe his name is Alex. It left me completely at this point. The book's over now, too. All hell breaks loose, but in the end, the scientist fumbles up. He loses. Alex goes away. The mother says he's very proud of him. I believe it is Alex. And now he decides he's going to go find his dad. He's going to go find and save his dad. And it says, the end for now. I'm guessing this is like a to be continued in volume 2 deal, or it's the next story arc. Excuse me. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing if there's a Powers Cube volume 2. I enjoyed Powers Cube. It was an interesting first story arc. A few people thought it was really strong. A few people thought it was really weak. I thought it was a really good story. I would definitely recommend checking it out as a trade paperback.
Okay, now the rest on my book. So, it's
good,
back.
Now I can burp on cue.
Angry Birds Comics issue number 1. I was so happy when I saw this digital book return. Unlike the others, it had actually 2 stories instead of 3. Like, really, the first story was about Red's big birthday surprise when he was looking for his friends and he thought the pigs took him away. And I knew that it had to be a surprise, birthday, and I thought that was nice. And the second story talked about the Three Musketeers, but the pigs version of the Three Musketeers fighting against Red, who was the powerful leader, and then the pigs won. It was a really fun read. Definitely something for all of you to check out. I love that they're back and can't wait to see next issue. Bloodshot Reborn issue number 9. Now this issue is the end of Bloodshot Reborn because the next story arc is going to be Bloodshot and the Analog Man, which I've been hearing a lot about from Valiant Comics. And first of all, Angry Birds artwork was great. This artwork was excellent. What it really talked about was Bloodshot going up against this little boy who is infected with the nanites. And now...
Nanites!
Or nanites, whatever.
Nanites don't exist.
Well, nanites. And he's actually...
Think of a knight.
Or whatever, okay. And he's still infected, Bloodshot, with the nanites.
Nanites.
And he doesn't want to kill the boy because, he doesn't do those type of things. And the duo... Blood Squirt and this other girl who used to bother him a lot try to tell the boy, saying, oh, it's good to kill and everything, and then to just end his misery, he just cracks his neck. Bloodshot. I don't even know either. Festival, however, does help out a little bit with this case, along with Magic. Magic's Bloodshot's, girlfriend that follows around and everything. And then the ending book, he just burned the file and just said that whatever was about me in the file was just whatever.
Because he's Bloodshot again.
Because he's Bloodshot again. So Analog Man, I hope it's a good story from what I'm going to see. But I really like this issue. Now, and this is the true cover now. This is really the cover of Barb Wire. Seriously. I'm not lying. That is the cover.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, alright.
Well,
anyway, Barb Wire 2, issue number 7, I believe. And I could just sum up this whole book.
She's naked?
No. We learn a little bit about Ramon's character, and we also know that Barb Wire had her friend Hunter, who was behind the whole... Roman? Yeah, it was Roman. About this whole thing, about saving her from these people who wanted Roman. And then saying, you know what, we'll just back out of this. And then Hunter does come back in this issue to tell Barb Wire something is going seriously wrong with Roman and knows where he is. Because Barb Wire was looking for Roman because the detective says, you know where he is. But she really doesn't. In the end, we find out where he is. And oh boy, the way that Roman turned out, things in his head, scary.
Oh boy.
Very scary. Johnny Red, issue number 3. Now, from the last issue, we found out that the new commander said that Johnny Red is no longer going to be in the war. Like, basically, they told him to step down, basically. the other people weren't so happy about, so they go on saying, Johnny Red, he knows what he's doing, like, let him join the team, and they're just strictly just saying no. So what Johnny Red does is that he goes to the other commander and tells them that, if you go this way with the plane routes, because I think that they're fighting against Japan, because this is, again, in the World War storyline, and he's like saying, if we go this way, it's going to work, but if you go the other way, with all the planes and everything, they're just going to get a higher up and everything. It was a really long story, but I think they're going to reconsider putting Johnny Red back on the team, and just after that. Really enjoyable read. Lara Croft and the Frozen Omen, issue number 4. And in this story, we find out more about Mr. Green, who's the Devil Underground, but we also... It's more of an adventures of Lara Croft and Carter, who is trying to find out about these new blood demon-like creatures or something like that. I don't know, it was a little bit confusing. I had to read it the second time just to fully understand it. But basically, Mr. Green is just sending out all these blood demons to rule over the world, of course, because that's what, villains do. And then it's up to Lara Croft and Carter to stop all this from happening. And there's an interesting person who works with Mr. Green. I forgot what his name was. He had like a bird on his thing and everything. I forgot what his name was.
Nice.
But the story's getting really intense, and I'm really enjoying the story that I read of that. Now, I don't know. Is it Ray?
Rye.
Okay, Rye. Just want to make sure I say it right. Rye, issue number 12. This is probably... Oh, no, actually, it's to be continued. I am sorry. I thought it was the end. My mistake. So, we find out that, what?
Yeah, it looked like it froze for a second there.
Oh, if it did, I'm sorry. Oh, well, anyway, in this story, we find out that New Japan, or Father, I should say, is fighting against Spylock. And this was like a really intense scene. This is basically the death of Father and the whole new construction of New Japan. In the ending, though, we see falling stars, and we don't know how or why that is happening.
I'm just making sure we're moving.
Yeah, how or why this is happening. But, and there's a bunch of other stuff that I don't want to give away because I want you guys to read the book, and it is just a recap, like I said. It's a really interesting book, and I'm really enjoying reading Rye. Now, this one, I just want to make a little bit of mention of the Defying Dr. Mirage, issue number 1. I don't know what to think about this book. It was a really long dialogue. I'm talking about pages long dialogue. And what it's about is just Dr. Mirage just trying to reconnect with, I don't know if his name was Owen or I don't know what it is. But basically she's trying to reconnect with him, but also trying to help other people reconnect with the spirits that she can see and hear, but they can. So she's just basically the person who helps them out. And also, there are a bunch of other things about Dr. Mirage. I did read about her character, and I really thought that it was pretty cool, Valiant coming up with the idea. And I'm actually glad Dr. Mirage is back, but just a little less dialogue, But all in all, up to you guys if you want to read it. Now we go to the big two, starting with you again, which is Batman and Robin Eternal, issue number 14.
This series, I regret getting this digitally. I'm definitely in stores for the trade paperback. This was an excellent book, by the way.
Sorry.
And that's what froze the camera last time. Mother, actually, in the last issue said she's going to blow up the island that they're on. So now Dick wants to team up with the orphan in order to escape. The orphan thinks it's a test from Mother and is still going to beat the crap out of Dick and kill everybody and somehow survive the island. Cassandra and Harper go off to try to hack the computers. Dick fights Orphan. We get a flashback, and it turns out that, again, Batman, a lot of secrets and a lot of lies happen with Batman. And the Scarecrow, I don't want to spoil that. I know we're in the next issue already. I still don't want to spoil it. I really liked it. And Dick, I love what Dick said. Dick's like, everybody's trying to discredit Batman. They all think that we follow along in a nice straight row because we are so obedient to Batman. And if we find out anything bad about Batman, it'll just break us. And the truth is, Batman is human. He makes mistakes. And that's one thing that we all knew, is that he made mistakes and he had lied. References back to the what was it, the Joker story arc where Bruce admitted to all of them that Joker might know where the Batcave is. So I really just love this issue, and they got off the island in the end. There's a little spoiler for you. So next they're going to Spiral.
Okay, Guardians of Infinity issue number 2.
I love how the Guardians are fighting amongst each other, thinking, hey, I'm the Guardians of the Galaxy. No, I'm the Guardians of the Galaxy. No, I'm the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then when they finally stop fighting, they realize they're all Guardians of the Galaxy, but from different times. And they talk about the soldiers that are, or the people that are coming through, they're the newcomers. And as they're talking in their base, the newcomers show up and attack the base. It becomes a huge fight. One of the Guardians, I won't say who, gets converted. It was a really good issue, and it ends off on a explosive note. Let's leave it at that. But I enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed it. I think that it's an interesting read. Is it? Excuse me. I gotta stop drinking soda because I can see it's giving me the burps. Is it something I would highly, highly, highly recommend? No. But it's a definite interesting read. If you have the extra, check it out in stores. I like the artwork. I love Rocket. Everybody knows how much I love Rocket's banter. So it's a fun read. It's an average read. That's the word I'm looking for. Average. But good.
Spider-Gwen issue number 4.
Alright, everybody knows I was going to drop this book. I couldn't continue it any longer, but I decided to hold out because of this issue where Harry finally confronted Spider-Woman. And oh my god, we talked about this on Frontline Live. It was so much like Spider-Man 2, it's not even funny. Harry and Gwen and Spider-Woman are fighting, and Gwen's like, take the mask off, Gwen. And she's trying. She gives him this huge speech, thinking it would, change his mind about wanting to kill her. And it doesn't. And her method is what she should have done at the beginning of the book, and she didn't. And then finally, we get a bit of a flashback with Harry, Pete, and Gwen, and it's not a nice one with Harry. But anyway, it turns out that in the end of the issue, and this is what plays a huge homage to Spider-Man 2, is Pete, yeah. Harry takes the mask off Spider-Woman after knocking her down and finds out that it's Gwen, and he had already drank the serum, the lizard serum, which he admits it's his fault what happened with Kirk Connors and the other lizards. And as he's realizing it's Gwen, he starts to mutate. And it's left off there. This was a good issue. I really liked it. I think it really picked up. I think Spider-Gwen is at its best when it doesn't focus around the universe around her and it just focuses on her. I don't need no Captain America from her universe. I don't need no Punisher from her universe. Spider-Gwen, period.
Okay. The Totally Awesome Hulk, issue number 2.
Amadeus Cho loses control in this book. And you could see that Amadeus Cho, even though he's so in control of the Hulk, if he gets too mad, he can lose control. And he does when his sister gets caught in trouble, and he hulks out worse than what he already is, and he becomes like the Hulk. And I love how Miles is about to try to save the sister, and She-Hulk grabs him and goes, don't, I've seen that look before. You don't want to be on the receiving end of that look. And Miles like, yeah, I think I'll stay right here. And after Amadeus calms down, he hulks down out, he turns off the Hulk, and then it turns out that something worse is gonna happen. And I love how his sister's like, Ami, you gotta Hulk out again. He's like, I don't know, I'm scared. And I like that. It's humanistic. We get a flashback again with Bruce as the Hulk. It turns out he had absorbed way too much radiation still, and there was nothing he could do, and he was holding himself back from a huge basically causing a huge explosion because of all the radiation he was holding inside of him. This is a really good book. I'm really more interested in how Bruce, transferred the Hulk to Amadeus. As far as the Amadeus Cho Hulk thing, it's okay. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm more inclined to knowing what happened with Bruce And how Bruce will eventually become the Hulk again, if Bruce ever becomes Hulk again. I don't know. It's like Jay said, everybody's changing roles now, and I don't know if I like that.
Uncanny X-Men, issue number 1.
This is an easy answer. Greg Land's art isn't the reason why I'm saying this, but it does play a factor into it. But this is not my X-Men. I had no interest in this book after the end. All I can say is after hearing about what's coming with Uncanny X-Men and how it's going to cross over with Extraordinary X-Men, I might keep it in my digital pull list at least until after the crossover with Extraordinary X-Men. Doesn't mean I'll be reviewing it, but I will be reading it so that when the crossover happens, I'll be able to jump back in. But for the first time in the All New, All Different, this is the first X-Men book I have to say I can't recommend.
Okay, now 3 more books from me, and starting with The Amazing Spider-Man issue 1.2. Oh my god, this book, and I said this on Frontline Live, this was my least favorite book. Not even least favorite. This was just uninteresting. First of all, the Spider-Man's character, I don't know if it's Peter Parker or not, he is way out of character in this book. And what it talks about...
He is, I did read I read through it a bit.
And the artwork's a little He's working with these people called the Sanitarians and just trying to find out about Julio. So what does he do? He has to take a whole trip to Berlin, I think it was, or wherever it was. I can't remember. And I'm thinking, and I'm putting a book down, or digital book down, like saying, okay, when did he travel? I'm like, why is he doing this? And the story was not... It was just about detective work. This wasn't an Amazing Spider-Man book where he's just going around saving the day and everything. This is just him doing Law and Order stuff. That's not what Spider-Man's all about in this book.
I agree.
That's why this is my least favorite, and if it does it again in the next issue, I am sorry, but I have to drop it. I can't take his character and the story. It has to be a story where he saves the day, not play Law and Order.
Next.
That's my little rant there. Deadpool issue number 5.
Oh, and there is an issue 6, FYI, so it's not over.
Oh, I know. Alright, yeah. Well, because I'll explain why after I show the cover and explain the story. What it really is about is Deadpool versus Madcap. The other Deadpools come in to save him because, of course, you know, he hired them for stuff from what we saw in the beginning issues. And they're not wearing red now. They're just wearing their own costumes that they feel comfortable with. We find out that Madcap is really a little bit of Wade Wilson, and then he just goes off somewhere, or I think he gets like killed or something. I can't really remember because it was a little a little fuzzy and everything. But we find out that they said the end of the book, but then it said Deadpool for next issue is Deadpool 2099, which I don't know if it's a new story or whatever.
New story arc.
It's a new story arc, so if that doesn't interest me, then I'm gonna think about whether to keep it or not. This one was interesting. Swamp Thing, issue number 1. This book was really awesome. Like, this book just talked about, well, we find out that it's, we find out that the Fam Stranger, not Constantine.
I thought it was
Constantine. But we only see him in...
I heard it vibrating.
Oh, it was the iPod. But we find out that the Fam Stranger is telling Alec Holland that, you know, the war is coming and everything, and you should, you know, face the consequences that come before you. And we only see him for like 2 pages of the panels, and I thought we should see him more. So he meets up with these new people, he saves them, and then... The people the person he saved were the people that are actually looking for him. And they talk about this person, I forgot what his name was, that he was used for a science experimental thing. Something went wrong, where he turned into this big zombie-like creature. And Swamp Thing meets up with this zombie-like creature, and oh man, the end issue, he rips him in half like a piece of paper. I mean, I was like saying, wow, who would ever do it to Swamp Thing? Like, this person just, he means business,
yes, he does.
The zombie. I mean, it was bad for Swamp Thing, don't get me wrong, and I felt bad for him, but He's going to have to put little bits and pieces together if he's going to be in the next issue. But, oh man, this issue was really interesting, and I'm actually glad you recommended it to me because he recommended I read Swamp Thing. And that was actually pretty good. And the artwork was great as well, so definitely check it out in DC Comic Books. And, oh yeah, that's where I start, with the physical books. Now we get into physical stuff. Starting with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Color Classics, Volume 3, issue number 13. This is City at War, part 11 of 13. So we have 2 more issues left until City at War is ended. And will you please stop that?
I'm making sure the camera is working.
Well, anyway, I'm going to show some artwork. This is really the Turtles. I'm sure you read what happens already. That he fights...
reviewed Ultimate Collection Volume 5.
Okay.
Which you still owe me Volume 6.
You'll get your Volume 6. But anyway, the Turtles are fighting off against the Shredder Elites with Kari. And here's some artwork.
Casey with the baby.
Yeah, we have Casey Jones. His name was originally
Ghostbusters International.
Yeah, that one I'm looking forward to reading, actually. I was going to do that. But yeah, but his name was Arnold, actually. I didn't know his name was originally Arnold. Because he goes back to his mother's house. Like, look. And then he says, the baby is legally his, but biologically not. And then he just is going to explain to the mother what happened to the mother of the baby. And then we get back into action. I do have to admit, though, the action in this book is really
I like how the Turtles are fighting. Casey's dealing with having the baby now, and April's kind of dealing with everything.
Well, finding a house and everything. Do you know what this picture is about?
This guy is dying, apparently.
Yeah.
Or he's really sick.
That I was trying to figure out what that was all about. But anyway, and it goes back to the fighting scene where they're fighting off against each other. And Kari, I don't know how you say her name, is in a little bit of a tight situation. But, of course, the Turtles are right there. You know that they're going to save her and everything. And don't spoil it.
Well, you just said the Turtles are going to save her.
Because the Turtles are right up the stairs.
Because they're going to save her.
Of course.
That's it.
Great book. Only if it because it's in color, because it was released years ago. Zenoscope's Robyn Hood issue number 18.
Like the cover? I picked the cover.
I know. I really like the cover. And in this book, it really does a little bit of a recap about what happened in Realm War, because now Cindy wants to join Robin's side because of basically what's going on. And now that Malik is dead, he gave the throne now to Cindy, basically saying that she's the new Dark Queen, but really not. Because I was about to say, oh no. It's just really just to follow Malik's order, which was to, what was it again? Basically to take control of the Dark Horde. The Dark Child, basically, to take over that. And, so as she joins the team and everything, I'll show some artwork. Like, this is good artwork right here. And she gets her out of the police situation where they were about to arrest her and everything, and the Horde comes in to save her. And we get a little bit more about Malik's part of the story, and also the true confession of Robin and Marion saying that they love each other, which I thought was actually something else right there. And then Cindy's just talking about, the Realm War, about, like, they don't know what happened, because this was in a totally different universe, but she does. And basically, if you've read Realm War, you obviously know what happened, like I did. And, yeah, let's just say that the Child of Darkness in the next issue, there's going to be a big, huge war going on. And I like where it's going. In a positive way. Really like this.
2 more issues.
I know. Why? I'm enjoying this book so much. Valiant's Exo...
I love how I'm really relaxing now. I did all
You're giving me all the books. Exo Man.
I only have like 3 physical, I think.
You do. This is sort of just all me now.
Hey, it makes you feel good, because last week it was all physical for me.
Right. So I deserve this. Exo Manowar, issue number 43. This is the Kill List Part 1, where Arak is teaming up with Ninjak, and from what the confrontation, what they saw each other last time, they really don't get well with each other that much. But we get a little bit about this person's character, the Doctor, and it was Ninjak and Arak who were behind this. And we get a little bit of a backstory about how and why, because there was a mission about this, which Commander Thrill... Oh, by the way, let me show you some artwork. This artwork was drawn excellent. Every Manowar, I really like their artwork. So as the other armories are taking over Arak's homeland, he goes off on another mission, and with Ninjak, who is the help of this.
I like how she looks like she's nicer now.
Well, she kind of isn't really. This was just to help her fly up and everything, and that was on the Valiant stuff for the preview pages. Anyway, so there's just like this whole big thing where they're talking about that there was like this vine call of these plantings and stuff like that, and Commander Thrill is basically taking over. I think this person, Leonard Christopher, his name is. That is the Doctor, and he's like saying that war is coming, and this is a key to a global extinction virus. That is Commander Thrill, who is actually behind all this, and that explains the reason why they had to kill the Doctor, and also the virus that's going around, where Commander Thrill seeing all this and a message, basically just telling him "see you soon" by Ninjak and Arak. And oh boy,
that was like a cool cover.
Yeah, this one's a cool cover of the next issue.
I'll make sure to get the regular cover then.
Definitely. And then they give it a little preview of Faith issue number 1. So I'm really... Robyn Vendetti just hits it out of the park with Manowar each and every time. And I'm really enjoying this story. Definitely check that out. This one was a little disappointing.
Also, please don't spend too much time talking about
Green Arrow, can I show artwork at least? And I'll just put it back. Green Arrow issue number 48. I could just say in a couple of sentences.
Werewolf.
He basically, I don't know when this happened, in the annual or whatever.
He got bit.
He got bit by a wolf, and now he's like saying, I'm going to turn, and all this stuff. And then he was about to, but then, he's with his dog, George. Here's some artwork. And I'm telling you, if I see Green Arrow turn into a werewolf, and this is after he fights off against this abominable creature, if he turns into a werewolf, and if you're going this direction, you're going to make me not like this book, and then I am going to probably drop it. And this has happened ever since the new writers came. And they did good at first. Why are you making Oliver Queen a werewolf? That's what I don't understand. He's an archer, not a werewolf. That's just wrong.
You mad?
Star Wars issue number 14, Vader Down, part 5 of 6. There is a part 6 of 6 in Darth Vader because it came out the same week. And in this story of Star Wars, what?
You keep going.
Oh. It's basically Princess Leia confronting with, Lord Vader and Corbin, who is actually in a fight scene with Darth Vader, and their fight scene with the artwork was drawn really nicely. And then we have Chewie and Han Solo fighting off against Kardani, however you say that long name. And it took R2's needle just to knock him out. And that was the end. And everyone's on the search for Luke Skywalker. The stormtroopers are trying to ambush him while Darth Vader is fighting off against Corbin. And in the end, we find out that he does get taken away by the stormtroopers, and he tries to get through to Princess Leia about that.
But Princess Leia is too busy pointing a gun at Darth Vader's head.
And we'll get to that momentarily after you review this book.
Action Comics 48. Savage Dawn, I guess is the story arc. Vandal Savage has now kidnapped the entire Justice League of America, including Wonder Woman. Superman found out that Vandal Savage is the one that stole his powers and is using it to power a weapon that he's going to use to control the world and do all the things that the Justice League and Superman couldn't. So, obviously that's how Superman is going to get his powers back. He's going to find the machine that stole everybody's powers, and put it back inside of himself. But beside the point, Vandal's just blowing things up left and right, and Clark could barely do anything because he doesn't really have powers anymore. And you got the Justice League United that shows up with Steel, and we finally find out about that prototype suit that Steel was working on for Superman. The downside is it works through kryptonite. So if Superman's in the suit for too long, it can kill him. So in the suit he goes to save the Justice League, and he ends up only saving Wonder Woman. Big surprise. And there's a fight between him and Vandal Savage. Not even really, because one of his kids show up. I love how the kids really don't trust him at all. Mm-hmm. And Superman and Wonder Woman get away. Unfortunately, Justice League United gets caught, and so does Steel. Uh-huh. So now, even though Wonder Woman was freed and they can't drain her of power anymore, now they've got all 6 members and Steel of the Justice League United. And obviously the books are going to be connecting at least until issue 50, because it says to be continued in Superman Wonder Woman. So this, for anyone who's read Superman,
why are they splitting books in different stories?
I don't know, but I was going to say anyone who read Superman in the mid to late 90s or even the early 90s, well, the whole 90s, let's put it that way. You guys are used to this already, because we used to get all of the Superman books that came out were all connected. They didn't have separate story arcs until like 2000, mid 2000s. So, sorry, one of my comics is falling off. Had to fix it. So this is nothing new for me. So I'm glad that we're getting a grand finale story to end everything.
All right, going back to Vader Down is the last part, Darth Vader, issue number 15.
Let me see. Did I get the variant cover?
I like that.
It is a variant edition.
This is the variant edition, and the final chapter part that we've all been waiting for Vader Down. And in this story, it goes back to the fight where Corbin is fighting with Darth Vader, and there's like a lot of stuff that happened in this issue where it gets really interesting. We get more of I don't know. See, Darth Vader uses his magic, his force.
The Force.
I'm sorry, the Force, to defeat Corbin. Couldn't he have just done that, like, in the beginning? That's what I'm saying. Here's some artwork. Same as I showed before. And what I liked about this issue is that Darth Vader knows that ship has Luke in that, what was it called?
As a prisoner.
As the prisoner. And what Darth Vader does, which I thought I would never see him do.
He saves Luke.
He saves Luke. And I was like, whoa. That right there. I mean, it didn't get me mad just seeing that, because and also Princess Leia gives it to that girl. I can't remember what her name is. The assassin that was with Darth Vader, Beatty or whoever that lady was. I love how Princess Leia just one punch and that's it. They fly away in the Millennium Falcon, and
Darth Vader watches on.
Darth Vader just watches.
The next issue of Star Wars, I believe, is going to be a Ben Kenobi story.
And this whole series, I really enjoyed Vader Down. I mean, it was a little slow in the beginning, but all in all, definitely get all this in trade paperback, because this was a really enjoyable series that I read. Definitely worth the buy. Your turn.
Green Lantern 48, we get the background on the person who caused the explosion in the last issue, Howard. Hal Jordan's nephew's in the hospital in a coma. What is it? Beto Wylando. And he wants Medora. He wants the rights to Medora. So, Green Lantern goes to the wonderful Chappie Batman, which I do like. I love how Hal Jordan actually makes a joke. So when did Batman get replaced with a guy in a bunny suit? So I like that. I'm glad that DC listens to everybody. So he gives Hal all the background information on Willandon, however you pronounce his name. And he shows up at one of the army bases in Medora, and they actually end up killing themselves in order to free themselves from what we don't know, but it turns out that Hal Jordan is getting pissed, and then we find out that Parallax is somewhere out in the universe, and he's looking to come after Hal Jordan and also to kill Hal Jordan. Because he feels that Coast City can only live if this universe is Hal Jordan dies. So that's going to be the big issue 50. Hal Jordan versus Parallax Hal Jordan.
This was actually a fun read. Spider-Man Deadpool issue number 1.
Is it a miniseries or an ongoing?
I really don't know. I think it's a miniseries.
I hope it's a miniseries.
Actually, let me take a look. Well, in this book, we also get a special bonus book of Vision issue number 1. That's
let me see
included
this?
in this. It's right in the front.
Plus a special
Bonus book, Vision issue number 1.
Man, they're pushing. They're really trying to push people to buy Vision or to read Vision.
Well, basically, it's Spider-Man and Deadpool stuck. And yes, Chris, that is Dormammu.
Mm-hmm. I didn't read this book.
Well, you said it wasn't Dormammu on the front line.
They said it was.
Where's his name? Look. By the burning plains of Dormammu on the Eye of my Ascension.
Keep reading.
Anyway, yeah, so they're trying to find their way out, and I love how just
I just skimmed the artwork, so I wouldn't know.
Well, the artwork I'm going to show, just Spider-Man hates Deadpool's guts, and I could...
You know, I gotta say, Ed McGuinness's artwork just keeps getting better and better.
It is.
And I love Ed McGuinness's artwork.
And they're trying to fight off against Dormammu's enemies, and they go through this portal where Spider-Man just says, you know what, Deadpool, you know, I'm just at wit's ends with you because, you know, you're just not taking things seriously. So he goes, then Spider-Man has a little talk with Anna Marie, and then they have a little fight with, I think, Hydro Man or something like that. From the
I think
sewers.
so.
That's what it looks like. And, yeah, but it just gets, like, more... It's more of a funny read than a serious book, but it does get a little bit serious when Deadpool has a little bit of a target on somebody. To be continued. And then we get a little bit of Vision.
No, do not review that.
Well, I didn't. And oh my God, what was that?
Shut the book. Put it back.
No, because I just saw if Iron Fist ended. Well, that's gonna be a little reconsideration, but yeah, read this. It's a fun book. Can't believe what I just saw. Just go.
A-Force #1 was my number 2 pick of the week, next to another book. I forgot what book was my number 1 pick.
I got rid of my eyes after seeing that.
Anyway, I know, right? A-Force, this was a fun issue. So, apparently, Singh survives Secret Wars. And she has all the memories from the A-Force team back in Arcadia when they were part of Battleworld. But now the Marvel Universe is back to its one-world self. And she wants to find her friends. And the first person she bumps into, conveniently, as Jay put it, is Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel doesn't remember her. Nobody remembers her. Why? Because Secret Wars was apparently erased from everybody's mind. The artwork is gorgeous, though, in this book. I really like the artwork in this book. And she goes like, "Friend Carol," and she's like, "Do I know you?" And she tries to explain she knows her, and Carol wants to, you know, learn more about her, so she tells her to keep her on the ship, because then this other being, who's apparently her opposite, and wants to kill her, attacks, and Carol tries to fight him off. She finds an escape pod and escapes to Earth and homes in on She-Hulk, ironically. So she actually shows up at She-Hulk's doorstep and goes, "Friend Jennifer," and she says, "Do I know you?" And she's like, "You don't remember me? I need help." And that's when the attack happens, and she hulks out more and tries to help Singularity, and and then in the end, Medusa shows up, and she's like, "Oh my God, Medusa's alive, friend!" And then she's like, "If this is what the creature wants," and then she just arrests her and says, "Let's just give her to him." To be continued. That was a jerk move for Medusa, but anyway, I really enjoyed this issue a lot. I'm looking forward to the next issue. Obviously, Singularity is going to bring A-Force together. We didn't get to see Nico in this one. We didn't get to see Dazzler. So I'm hoping that when we see Nico, she'll remember somehow Singularity, because Nico was the closest one to Singularity. So hopefully somehow there's a memory there, and that's what'll kind of keep Singularity from completely losing her crap, because nobody remembers her. I really liked A-Force. I would definitely recommend checking out issue 1, and I'm hoping things will pick up as the story continues forward. That was my top book of the week, and that's it for this Dark Avenger comic book review. Guys, hopefully tomorrow I will be delivering to you a haul video. I'm praying. We'll have to wait and see what the mailman decides to or not to bring. Hopefully he decides to bring our comic books, but it all depends on if they got here, if they're in our area yet. So hopefully they are. Hopefully the next review will be soon. Weekends, videos are up in the air. It depends on time and whatnot, but videos, as far as everything else, start again on Monday. Dark Avenger Live happened tonight. We had a really great time checking that out. Hopefully, like I said, there'll be a haul video so I can update you guys on other things. 1, 2, 3 will be coming up soon. And hit points we're working on as we speak. So, till next time, everybody, links in the description below. Connected to a bunch of awesome sites. If you haven't checked them out already, please do. If you're not subbed to this channel, please sub, because we got a lot of really great things planned for you guys this year. We are 2 weeks into 2016, and already we have our first late set of books. Hopefully this week will be better. Crossed fingers. Till then, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about any of these books here. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree. I love hearing from you guys. That's why the comment section is down below. See you guys next time.
Later, everyone.